Saral Japani, Japanese learning made easy. Minasan, konnichiwa. Hello friends, how are you? Welcome to Saral Japani YouTube channel. This is a place where we talk about Japan and Japanese. And this is the series called Elementary Japanese Crash Course for JLPT N5 and N4. Today is the 11th lecture of this series, and as you know, in this series we are following the popular Japanese textbook for beginners called Elementary Japanese Volume 1, written by Professor Yoko Hasegawa. We are on lesson 3 of that book, which is dedicated to places, and today is the third part of that lesson. And in this lecture, we shall cover the three topics that you are seeing currently on this screen, that is numbers and counting, introduction to kanji, and kanji writing for numerals. So let's begin today's lecture. This is the front page of the book Elementary Japanese Volume 1 by Yoko Hasegawa and his team. And this is the content of lesson 3 of this book, which is places. And as you can see, there are several topics, exercises, vocabulary, and other things. So out of these, the items that we have already covered in the last lesson were these 3A to 3F. In today's lecture, we shall cover these three, that is numbers, introduction to ideographic writing system, and new kanji. And after that, the ones that will be left out are these ones, which we shall cover in subsequent lectures. So let's begin with numbers. Numbers and counting in Japanese. So before we start going through these pronunciations of these numbers and counting, let me tell you friends that in Japanese, zero has very less significance. In fact, there is no numeral as such for zero. There is one kanji, there is one symbol, but that is not used in the counting system. So what does that mean? In Roman system or in the decimal system, as you know, that 0 has a great significance. For example, if we want to write 10, we have to write 1 followed by 0. That means 0 will appear whenever there is a multiple of 10, isn't it? So in 10 we need 0, in 20 we need 0, in 100 we need two zeros, in 1000 we will use three zeros to make it 1000. But in Japanese, this is not the case. There is no zero. What that means? It means when after writing from 1 to 9, 9 different symbols, when it comes to 10, then we will not write the numeral for 1 followed by the numeral for 0. Because again, as I said, the numeral 0 doesn't exist. So for 10, there will be a new symbol. So 10 will not be written as 1 and 0, but it will be an independent symbol for 10. But after that, when we write 11, then we can reuse the symbol of 10 followed by the numeral for 1. So in that way, 10 and 1 will make 11. So this is the most fundamental concept and the most basic difference between the Japanese counting system with the other counting systems across the world. So having said that, now let's begin reading out these numbers. So as you can see in this table, there are three columns. The first one lists the numbers in Roman or the decimal system. Then we have this pictorial system which is called kanji, which we shall uh, cover a little later in today's lecture. And the third column is the numerals in hiragana, written in hiragana so that you can read. So 1 in Japanese is ichi, 2 ni, 3 sang, 4 shi or yong. Now there is a thing here. Both shi and yong can be used to represent 4, but shi has a limited usage. So you will be surprised to know that she is not used when we refer to the numeral 4 in connection with someone's birthday, someone's age, or something like that. Why that is so? Because she also means death. So when we are talking about birthday or the age of a person, we won't associate the word she with that, because that also means death. So it's like an ill omen that we don't want to indicate that. So in that case, only yong will be used. Otherwise, both have the same meaning. So this you will learn slowly and slowly when you are at an advanced stage of this language and the culture. Then you will learn what to use and what not to. So anyways, now let's move forward. 5 is go, 6 roku, 7, again there are two words for 7, shichi and nana. So both can be used maybe in certain places, which is very rare. You do not use one or the other, but in general sense you can use either of these, shichi and nana for 7. 8 is hachi. 9 again ku and q. So again the usage depends on what is followed after the numeral 9. For example, in normal cases we write q, but one exception might be like when we say 9 o'clock, the time, so the ninth hour. So then we have to write ku followed by g. G means o'clock, the time, the hour. G means hour, the ninth hour. So it will be kuji. It will not be qg. So similarly, there may be some other contexts as well in which the ku will be used and not q. So that again you will learn as and when we progress with those topics and concepts. So after 1 to 9, so let's repeat one more time. Ichi, ni, sang, yong or shi, go, roku, shichi, nana, hachi, ku, kyu. Next comes 10, which is ju. As you can see here, it's ju. So 10 is ju. Again, it's not ichi and 0. It's an independent symbol, which is ju. Then at 11 it is ju ichi. So this is very straightforward in Japanese, friends. So in English what happens? We call 10, then we say 11. So there is no similarity. The words 10 and 11 are totally independent words, right? So we do not say 10 1. We don't say 11 as 10 1. But in Japanese, we say 11 as ju ichi. That means 10 1. 12 we say ju ni. That means 10 2. 13 we say ju sang. That means 10 3. So this is how Japanese counting is done, and which is very easy as compared to other languages, because here you don't have any specific or any independent word for each of these. You just need to remember from 1 to 10, and then you should be able to count at least up to 99. Okay, at least up to 99. Why 99? Because when it comes to 100, then again a new symbol gets introduced, because there is no zero, so 100 will needs to be a very different and an independent symbol to represent 100. So that we will see, but for now 10 is ju, 11 is ju ichi, 12 ju ni, 13 ju sang, 14 ju shi or ju yong, 15 is ju go, 16 is ju roku, 17 is ju shichi or ju nana, 18 is ju hachi, 19 is ju ku or ju kyu, 20 is niju. So here you go. So niju. So now since it is the 2 multiplied by 10, so that means the numeral 2 will appear before this numeral 10. So numeral 2 followed by 10 will imply 20 niju, and Look here, 10 followed by 2 will mean 12. So that means the unit place, you have to multiply the tens place with 10 and then the units place. So this makes it 20 and this makes 2 multiplied by 10 as 20, Niju. So you have to understand this concept, how the multiplication and the addition are happening while counting the numbers in Japanese. So similarly, 21 will be Niju Ichi. So now three symbols are needed to represent 21. So you can say this is a disadvantage in Japanese, obviously, because just to write 21, you have to write three symbols. And 21 is Niju Ichi. Then 22 will be Niju Ni. So you can now uh, practice with me. 23 will be Niju Sang. 24 will be Niju Yong. 25 will be Niju Go. 26 will be Niju Roku. 17 or in fact 27 will be Niju Shichi or Niju Nana. 19 will be 29 will be Niju Q, and 30 will be how much? Can you say? Can you tell? Can you tell what will be 30? 30 will be Sang Ju. Sang Ju. Sang Ju, because Sang is 3 and Ju is 10. So 3 into 10, 30. So now can you tell what will be 31? 31 will be Sang Ju Ichi. Sang Ju Ni, Sang Ju Sang, Sang Ju Yong, Sang Ju Go, Sang Ju Roku, Sang Ju Nana, Sang Ju Hachi, Sang Ju Kyu, and then 40 will become Yong Ju. So in this way it will go up to 99. And then comes 100, for which again we have this new symbol altogether, and it is called hyaku. 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 And hyaku, now this is a single unit which is 100. So 101 will become hyaku ichi. Hyaku ichi, hyaku ni, hyaku sang, hyaku yong, hyaku go, hyaku roku, hyaku nana, hyaku hachi, hyaku kyu, and then 110 will be what? Hyaku ju. 111 will be hyaku ju ichi. So again three symbols here. Hyaku ju ichi. Hyaku ju ni for 112. Hyaku ni ju, that will be 120, because 100 is at the first place, 100 position, then 10th position, then the unit position. So hyaku ju, hyaku ju ni will be 112, and if you want to say 120, it will be hyaku niju. Hyaku niju. 130 will be hyaku sangju, and 113 will be hyaku ju sang. So in this way you can practice, I would suggest you to write down all the numerals from 1 up to 150 as a practice exercise, so that the concepts become very clear in your mind. And in this way this counting can proceed up to 999. Why that is so? Because after 999 we have 1000. That means again we are in need of a new symbol to represent 1000, because we do not write 100 followed by 10. For this we have a new symbol which is sen. See, 1000 is this symbol which is sen. So we could have written hyaku followed by this ju, hyaku ju, hyaku ju, but sorry, we could have written ju hyaku, right? So first the plus sign, then the hyaku sign. So that would also mean 1000, but that is not the case. We introduce a new character of this one, which would represent 1000. So this is sen, which is same as ju hyaku. We do not call it ju hyaku, but we replace it with the independent character called sen. So 1001 will be sen ichi. Again the same thing, sen ichi, sen ni, sen sang, sen yong, sen go, sen roku, sen nana, and so on. So 1011 will be sen ju ichi. So you can see here 1000, this is 10, this is 1. So this is 1011, sen ju ichi. 1111, how do we write that? Sen hyaku ju ichi. Sen hyaku ju ichi. So 1000, then 100 place, first the 1000 place, for Seng for the 1000 place, Hyaku for the 100 place, Ju for the 10th place, and Ichi for the 1st place. Similarly, if it is 2222, then it will be Nisen, Nihyaku, Niju, Ni. So in Japanese, it is very cumbersome. It's for sure. So in English, we can write it so simply, but if you try to write it in Japanese, then it's a bit tedious process, and that's why while writing the formal Japanese language nowadays, people use the English numerals only. But from the learning point of view, you must understand how to write these numerals and how it the counting is done, and how the what is the rule of numerals and counting. So 2222 will be Nisen ni haku niju ni. So again, please practice on a similar note for as many numbers as you can. Now this will go on up to 9999. So if you have understood this rule, then you can write from 1 up to 9999. And when it comes to 10,000, there will be another thing introduced, so that we will do later on, since this is the first introduction of the numerals, so we won't go into anything beyond 9999. So try to understand this and try to memorize the rules for writing numerals and the rules for counting in Japanese. Next, we move on to our second topic of today's lecture, which is Introduction to the Ideographic Writing System, Kanji. You can see here it's written Kanji in hiragana. Kanji literally means characters of the Han dynasty of ancient China. So this is the period from 206 BC to 220 AD. So characters of the Han dynasty of ancient China. So this is the reason why Kanji in Chinese is called Hanzi. It is Hanzi actually in Chinese language. So from Hanzi in Japanese, it has become Kanji. Recording a language with Kanji is fundamentally different from writing with the Roman alphabet, that is Romaji, Hiragana, or Katakana. How Kanji is different from these alphabets based systems? These three scripts, that is Roman alphabet, that is ABCD, then Hiragana or the Katakana, these three scripts record the sounds of the language. So mind this word, sounds of this language, and are called phonographic scripts. So what does that mean? That means these scripts have individual characters, and for each character there is a sound associated with that, a specific sound which remains constant, and we have to concatenate the sounds, we have to concatenate the alphabets to form words, and then groups of words will form a sentence. So this is the phonographic system of writing, which is Roman, Hiragana, and Katakana. But in Kanji writing, ideas rather than sounds are recorded. That means it's no longer individual sounds, but it's the overall idea, the concept, some uh, some meaning is delivered through one kanji symbol. And so we refer to it as an ideographic writing system. Ideo word has come from the word idea. Each kanji is associated with some string of sounds in a particular language, but this sound association is secondary. That means the kanji character or a word formed using kanji will definitely have some reading of it. We have to read that. That is there. But that is secondary. What is primary? The meaning of that character, the meaning of that symbol is primary. Because it is ideographic, it gives an idea, it gives a message. So this is the difference between a phonographic character and an ideographic character. Phonographic character is pronounced according to the fixed and pre-decided sound, and kanji is basically gives the meaning. A kanji symbol, it gives the meaning of an idea, or it gives hint of an action or something, anything. And although there is a pronunciation associated with that, but that is a lesser important thing. Some kanji are pictographs. Picto comes from picture, and which means pictorial representations of what they refer to. So as you can see here, there is a moon, there are clouds flying. So what the ancient people did, they tried to simplify it. So this is the moon, this is the edge of the moon, some clouds, and in this way the modern character to represent moon is this. So this is the kanji for moon. So now what we call it is not that important. What meaning it is conveying is more important, and this is what a kanji does. We can form many words and different meanings by using this kanji along with some other kanji or some other phonographic characters or anything, but the main idea will remain the same, that this is something, it has to be something related to the moon. Similarly, this is a mountain. So from this we get this, the three peaks like this, and from that we have the modern kanji character for the mountain, which is this. So these three lines represent these three peaks, and this is the base of the mountain. So in Japanese we call it yama, but again that is not that important, and the readings will come later on. First try to understand the meaning. So similarly, this is the moon, which is tsuki, or also it can represent the month, which is called getsu and gatsu, and similarly this is yama. And then we have this tree with the roots like this is an ancient symbol, and then modern system, they have standardized the symbol for tree as this. So this is tree, which is key. So this is how the kanji writing system, the ideographic writing system, is different from the usual phonographic writing system that we are accustomed to. Both phonographic and ideographic writing systems have their own advantages and disadvantages. The phonographic writing system, it records sounds, for example, hiragana, katakana alphabet, whereas the ideographic writing system records meanings, for example, the kanjis or the numerals. So here the alphabets are the English alphabets. It refers to the English alphabets, and here the numerals, it refers to the English numerals like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are also symbols and ideograms. Phonographic writing system has a small set of symbols, but ideographic system can have very large number of symbols. Phonographic system is language dependent. So for example, suppose uh, a tree. So we can call tree using n number of words in n number of different languages. But when it comes to ideographic writing system, the symbols are language independent. That means a symbol will always give the same meaning. Whatever language you use, the meaning will remain the same. Phonographic writing system, a word written with phonographic writing system takes more processing time to read it out and to understand the meaning, but ideographic writing system takes less processing time. Why so? Because when we look at a symbol, we instantly know what is the idea behind that, what is the meaning of that symbol. We don't have to read anything, we just look at it and we know. So the processing time in our brain is very, very less when it comes to ideographic writing system, that is kanji. Now, some important points about the kanji writing system. Most languages make limited use of ideographic writing. So friends, this is not about kanji, this is in general ideographic writing. So in English also, in Roman also, there are ideograms. For example, symbols 1, 2, 3, these are nothing but ideograms. Most languages make limited use of ideographic writing, namely numerals. So languages other than Chinese and Japanese, they do have ideograms, but those are merely numerals like 1, 2, 3, etc. And these are pronounced differently from language to language, but we know what they mean regardless of their pronunciation. So as I said earlier, two is called two in English, it's called do in Hindi, it is called dui in Bengali, and so on. So the pronunciation is different from language to language, but the meaning remains the same. Even within English, the character to is pronounced differently in to and second. So see, it's to, it's second, but the idea remains the same. It's something related to the numeral two. Idea remains constant. So this is the first point. The second point is that each language uses a fairly small number of sounds out of all possible sounds that humans can produce. That means the phonographic script system uses a very small subset of all possible sounds that humans can produce. So if you record such selected speech sounds, you need a small set of symbols. By contrast, the ideas that humans can create are limitless. So if you record ideas directly, you need an infinite number of symbols, which is of course impossible. That means since ideographic writing represents the symbols of ideographic writing system represents ideas, so there can be infinite number of ideas. So that doesn't mean that you will have infinite number of symbols to represent those infinite number of ideas. That is not practical, that is not feasible. In that way, there won't be any language, it will be like a mess. So in kanji writing, a compromise has been made. Each character represents a group of ideas rather than a specific idea. That means we can use one particular symbol to represent different ideas depending on the context. So it's a group of ideas, related ideas, which can be conveyed using one kanji character. And in that way, we don't have to have infinite number of kanji symbols. Even so, the number of kanji necessary for recording Japanese is much larger than hiragana or katakana. The Japanese government has established a set of commonly used 1945 kanji which can appear in official documents, newspapers, magazines, etc. Naturally, some kanji are used more frequently than others. So, out of these around 2000 kanjis, if you learn 500 basic kanji, you can recognize about 75% of all occurrences of kanji in your day-to-day life. If you know 1000, that is 50% of the total kanjis, then your recognition rate rises to approximately 90%. So this is really interesting that although there are officially 1945 kanjis, if you just learn 1000 of those which are more frequently used, then your recognition rate will rise to 90%. And in this textbook, that means in Elementary Japanese Volume 1 by Yoko Hasegawa, you will learn a little more than 300. That means in this series that we are doing, Elementary Japanese, we will learn a little more than 300 kanji characters. So which should be more than enough for your JLPT N5 and N4 tests. Next is ideographic writing has an advantage over phonographic writing. As exemplified by numerals, ideographs are language independent. In phonographic writing, a string of symbols like to is meaningless unless you know the language, whereas the symbol to conveys its meaning without knowledge of the language. With some ingenuity, you can record English using kanji. So friends, when I was in Japan, I was told by someone that why kanji is important there, because the people who are illiterate, so there are illiterate people in Japan as well. So in ancient time, when someone was illiterate, so he didn't know hiragana, he didn't know katakana, but by looking at the symbol of kanji, for example, say this symbol. So if the man saw this symbol written somewhere, so he would immediately understand that it's something related to tree. But in place of this symbol, if we write the this word for tree in hiragana or katakana, then he won't be able to read because he does not know that language. He does not know the hiragana or katakana script. So in that way, ideographic writing is language independent and anyone should be able to make out the meaning if he knows a little bit about it. The greatest advantage of ideographic writing is its fast processing time. Compare, for example, 53,691 written in English and 53691 in numeral. So which one is easier to process? The second one, right? 53691. And this is the ideographic style of writing. Similarly, if you say, if you write this in Japanese, which is Nisen, Nihaku, Niju, Ni. That is 2222. It is much faster to comprehend than writing this whole thing in hiragana. Nisen, Nihaku, Niju, Ni. While English uses ideographs in only a limited domain, that is the numerals, Japanese uses them extensively. For each and everything, there are kanji characters. So that was the introduction of kanji for today's lecture, and now we shall learn some like how to write these kanji characters for the first basic few numerals. So as you can see here, we have written here the numerals that we will be learning. This is ichi, ni, sang, yong, go, roku, shichi or nana, hachi, kyu, ju, hyaku, and sen. So this is 1 to 10, 100 and 1000. We will try to learn how to write these characters, and you have to practice on your notebook all these writing, and you have to practice like a lot many times. So first is ichi. As you can see here, it's a horizontal line in the middle of the writing space. This is 1, ichi. Then 2, how to write? First, there will be a small horizontal line towards the top of the writing area, and then there will be this second stroke. We call these as strokes. First stroke, the second stroke. In that way, it will be written, and the second stroke is longer than the first stroke. So you have to be very careful that the sizes and the shapes will matter a lot in kanji. If the shape is not proper, if the lengths of the strokes are not following the standard, then your kanji may be interpreted wrongly by the reader. So it's very important to write it properly. Now sang, this is numeral 3. So the first stroke, the second stroke, the third stroke. So you can see here the first stroke is of certain length, the second stroke is shorter than that, and the third stroke is the longest of all. So this is sang or numeral 3. Then we have the numeral 4. It is now getting little bit complicated. Yong. So this is the first stroke. First you have to write this. Then this is the second stroke together. So this this kind of 90-degree rotation. Then this is the third stroke like this, and then this is the fourth stroke like this, and then the fifth stroke. So in 5 strokes you can complete writing this numeral 4. So the stroke order, what is stroke order? Which stroke to be written first, which stroke to be written second, which stroke to be written third, which stroke to be written fourth, and which stroke to be written fifth. This order is called the stroke order, and this is very, very important to follow the stroke order. So you can write this character even without writing using this without following the correct stroke order that I mentioned. So you should be able to write it, but the shape will not be exactly the one that is expected for this character. So why should we follow the stroke order? Because that will make your writing more accurate as per the specification of that character. So you must follow the stroke order, correct stroke order. This is numeral 5, which is go, the first stroke, the second stroke, the third stroke, and the fourth stroke. So in 5 strokes, this character can be written. In 4 strokes, this character can be written. Next is 6, which is roku, first stroke, second stroke, third stroke, and fourth stroke. Then we have Shichi or Nana as 7. It is very easy in 2 strokes only. So this is the first horizontal stroke and this is the second stroke, and it's all done. Hachi is also very straightforward. The first stroke and the second stroke like this. Mind that these are not touching one another. Hachi is 8. Then we have the remaining 4 ones. This is Ku or Q. Again, it's a 2-stroke character. The first stroke like this and then the second stroke like this. So this will make it 9 or Q. 10 is probably the most simple of all. First you have to write the straight horizontal line, just you wrote for ichi or 1, and then just a straight vertical line, making it the symbol for 10. As you can see here, the two lines are not intersecting at the central point of this vertical line. So maybe you can say 45% and 55% here of this vertical line. Next is the symbol for 100, which is hyaku. So the first horizontal line, then this small one, then this is the third stroke, which is totally independent of these first two lines. Then this is the fourth stroke, this is the fifth stroke, and this is the sixth stroke. In this way, 100 is written, hyaku. And the last for today's lecture is sen, first stroke, second stroke, and third stroke. So just mind that in the first stroke, it is coming from right to the left side. The second stroke is from left to the right side, and the third stroke is from top to bottom. So this is the stroke order I was talking about. So stroke order is only not the order of the strokes, but it also means the direction of these strokes, from which direction to which direction you should draw or you should write them. So as you practice them, slowly you will get to know how these are done. So it is okay to make mistakes when you are learning it for the first time, because unless we make mistakes, we do not learn. It is as simple as that. So make mistakes, no problem, but do practice these characters that we have learned today. So you can take printouts from the internet as well. There are practice sheets available on the internet, from on any website you can find, and you can take the printouts and you can fill up these empty spaces and you can just practice these characters. In that way you will start learning, or you will start getting the habit of writing or practicing the kanji characters. So friends, that's all for today's lecture. So these were the ones that we had learned in the last lecture. Today we learned these three, that is numbers, introduction to kanji, and new kanji. And the topics that are left now are these three, that is the dialogue related to places, the usage and all, then the exercises of this lesson, and the vocabulary. So we will continue in our next lecture and we will see how much we can cover in the next lecture. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you are not yet subscribed to this channel, please subscribe so that you get a notification when we upload the next lecture of this series. If you have any doubts or questions, you can write your comment in the comment section of any video of this channel, or you can email me at saraljapani@gmail.com and I shall get back to you over email. Thanks again for watching this video. Till we meet again, arigato gozaimasu, matai masho.